Hi everyone, so today I'm gonna do a video about some Boxycharm stuff and I guess just kind of a chat about Boxycharm. And I thought, since I don't think I'm sure I haven't used this on camera, I would use the CYO long-lasting foundation Lifeproof in 101. I am gonna mix this with a white though, because the undertone is very different from my undertone and the depth is a little bit dark. So I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit, and I think that's all I'm going to really say right now. So I don't know, I have nothing else to say. So as usual, I'm going to prime my eyes. So the box I'm primarily talking about is the March 2019 box. So it came with this Cover FX palette, a liquid eyeshadow, some brushes. So yeah, that's where we're going. So I always prime my eyes with this, and it's almost empty. Like, there's, if you can see up in there, come on baby, focus, 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 focus. You can see where I've like scraped it down, but then there's a line where the little doe foot can't reach. It's not like product up in there. There's probably about that much left because I stuck a Q-tip in there to get a dipstick approximation, plus, you know, get some more product out. And it left a blank spot down there, I can see now. So there is a little bit, but there is not much left. So this is Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define C0.5. It's a really light pink shade, and I like it for on my lids. The formula doesn't work so great for me under my eyes, but it is an excellent eye primer, and I get coverage and some brightening. So I really like it, and I've been trying out so many different concealers to see if I can just use something else in my collection for this, but so far I have not found one that works as well as a primer as this one. Gives the same amount of coverage and doesn't accentuate the dry flakes I have. I'm starting to think that it's the seborrheic dermatitis up here. I started using a little Selsun Blue like right here because the flaking is just out of control. Can you see? So I should probably just tell you what this thing is called. So it's the Cover FX Perfector Face Palette. And so this is the light medium shade. There's also, I think, like a medium deep. I think that Boxycharm like used your little profile to determine which one you should get, I think. I'm assuming, because there are two. And I'm assuming they made a decision on what to send to who. So most of these highlights are too dark for me, right? Yeah, the brightener shade totally works for a highlight for me. This finishing powder is going to be dark, but maybe I could use it on foundations that are a little too light, maybe? I don't know. And contour shade, so that's what I'm going to use in my crease. So Boxycharm is kind of a tricky thing because you get 5 full-size products every month, which is a lot of products. And like the value is crazy. It's like 22 bucks a month. That is way more pigmented than I was expecting for a contour. Wow. And you know, obviously, because you don't know where you're getting, you have no say in what you get, there's gonna be stuff that you don't like and can't use, don't want to use. So, you know, that kind of, therein lies the problem, right? Of doing subscription stuff. So far, I feel like it's worth it because I enjoy trying out new things. I enjoy being able to try new brands. And I also kind of enjoy keeping things to the side that I'm not going to use that maybe I could give to somebody else. Okay, so I just put that contour color in my crease. I'm going to keep it pretty simple today, I think. This is pretty much the same look I did yesterday. So another thing that came in the box was this Appeal liquid eyeshadow in rose gold. To me, this is more copper than rose gold. Like, real rose gold is kind of like a light copper color, like in real life. In makeup terms, rose gold tends to be more pink. But I feel like this is more closer to real rose gold, but also closer to copper. So it has a little brush applicator, which is interesting. And I think it's a little more sheer than something like the Stila Glitter and Glow. Though I think there's like different levels within that product, like the Magnificent Metals, I think is more opaque. I don't know. I don't like the glittery version of that one, to be honest. And then I'm just going to spread it out to make it a little bit less patchy, because it goes on a tiny bit patchy with the brush. So just try to get a little bit more diffused, because I don't want it like fully opaque. But it's going to be super, super shiny. The glitter particles are super, super small. Smaller than like the Glitter and Glows. Maybe I'll swatch the Glitter and Glow. A couple of the Glitter and Glow shades that I have. I feel like liquid shadows are kind of tricky when you have more texture on your lids, you know, like loose skin and whatnot, which is not the most attractive way of saying it, but I don't know how else to describe it. If you have crepey eyelids. Sometimes the liquid shadows can, when they dry, they just look really scaly, and I feel like this one does not. It's like thin enough, and then when it sets down, it doesn't like set down in kind of chunks, so it doesn't exaggerate the texture. So one of the things I got a couple months ago was these glitter drops from Cover FX, which are the most perplexing thing in the world. Why would you want? I mean, it's just a weird thing to put in for a box for a lot of people, because the people that are going to want to wear a glitter highlight, I feel like are probably pretty far in between. Far, there's some sort of phrase I'm trying to get to. It's really pretty, but if I put that on my eyes, it will crease like in an hour. This is the Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glow from Stila in Gold Goddess. This is like a deluxe size. This one is not more opaque, and the glitter particles are much bigger. That's the other thing I don't love about that, and the glitter tends to fall down on me. This is Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit, and it says it's a metallic. It's like the Shimmer and Glows, which I like a lot. Way more than the Glitter and Glows. So if you're looking for something kind of like the Shimmer and Glows from Stila, the metallic finish liquid catsuit is similar. And then the last thing I was going to swatch, this is a Stila Glitter and Glow in Smoky Storm. This one has a little bit more of a base to it, but the glitter particles are really big. Did I swatch this one? I don't think so. This is the ColourPop Supernova Shadow, which is a lot more like the Stila Walk of Fame. This does not sit nicely on my eyelids. It feels like it should be a good fit, but it's like it's really chunky. So this is a Stila Glitter and Glow. This is a Stila Shimmer and Glow. The Wet n Wild, here's one of the Stila Glitter Magnificent Metals, but it's super sheer. This is what I have on my eyes today, and there's that Nova Glitter Drops, and this is the ColourPop Supernova. Oh man, it's very sparkly. So at first it's kind of like cool feeling, and then it feels a little tight as it dries down, and then it still feels a tiny bit tight, but it's not uncomfortable. I don't think it's uncomfortable. My eyes are moderately sensitive. Some things like the glitter eyeliners tend to make my eyes burn. I've not experienced burning with any of the things that are on my hands. It's like both Urban Decay heavy metal glitter eyeliners, and I tried some other brand. NYX glitter eyeliners. Those make my eyes burn. I've been tightlining a lot, and I guess I can show you guys what I've been doing. I've been taking this L'Oreal, well, I often tightline, and that's not anything new, but I've been using gel liner and a brush. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible Lacquer liner. And this one is Espresso, though it has a little bit of Bobbi Brown like whatever the black one is, gel liner mixed into it, because I put a sample in here, but it was drying out, and then so I just mixed everything up. So it's like slightly more black than it used to be. I liked the Bobbi Brown. So it was a pretty decent sample if you took it out of the sample thing and put it in something else. But the Bobbi Brown like washes away so easily. The L'Oreal is a lot harder to clean off. But the Bobbi Brown just comes off like when you wash your face. I think it doesn't last as well, not surprisingly. But I appreciate that washability for sure. Because tight lining tends to get a lot of liner in your actual eyelashes, which is why I was kind of preferring to do the gel, because I could keep it out of my lashes a little bit more. But like sometimes I'm just kind of sloppy and get it everywhere. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm pretty sloppy and I get it everywhere. I'm gonna just put on a little bit of the e.l.f. Putty Primer. I haven't done an actual video on this. I feel like these comparison videos are pretty widespread at this point, comparing this with the Tatcha, but on my face I feel like it works the same. So I don't know that I need to do a full video, other than I feel like whenever I use this, I just mention it, that to me it works the same as a Tatcha, and I continue to feel that way. It doesn't have a fragrance, which I really appreciate. I feel like actually it's a little bit better for dry skin, or at least my dry skin, because the Tatcha sometimes can dry out my face a little bit. Like, I don't know that it's necessarily drying out my face, but it will be more flaky with the Tatcha, and I feel like the e.l.f. kind of keeps my face a little bit more moisturized. Trying to talk and do stuff. It's not working. All right, so I'm using the CYO, we all call it Lifeproof, in 101. This color is not. The undertone on this is like the exact opposite of my face. I do have a bit of a rash right now on my neck, which makes it look a little more pink. So now is the time, I guess, to be wearing this, but maybe put it over here. We'll see what color that changes. It looks kind of grayish to start, though it does oxidize a little. I'm gonna mix in some white. I'm using the NYX foundation mixer, which I find to be kind of a little bit more satin finish wise, because I didn't want to mess with the pretty finish that the CYO has. So that's why I chose to do this color, this mixer combo. So yesterday I just applied this with my fingers, which is kind of slow and tedious, but it looked really nice. So I'm just gonna do that today. I appreciate something that I can kind of press in. Trying to go a little faster today, so normally I don't do this much product at one time. But I do know that it's not going to set down really fast, so I have time to just move it around and then just kind of pat it in. I like not having to wash a sponge. You see how similar that is to my actual face under the freckles? That's usually a good indicator that it's a little too dark. Because my face is darker than my neck by a pretty large amount. Depending on how red it is that day, it can look much darker, like 3 shades darker. If I kind of smear things around, like drag it with my fingers, it tends to settle into my pores, so that's why I do this kind of slow, tedious tapping. So once it starts not looking so gray, I feel like it does just look kind of pink. I feel like I was looking a little more dewy yesterday. I didn't use a primer yesterday though either, so I kind of wonder if that's affecting it. It's a little darker than what I usually wear, but I think that's fine. So since my face is a little bit darker, I'm going to use my NARS Radiant Concealer, Radiant Creamy Concealer in Chantilly. And again, when I wore this yesterday, I did not set it with a powder and it was fine. We'll see. With this one, I feel like it really depends how much moisture I have kind of lingering on my eyes. Oh, this is more concealer than I needed. Just, gosh, I got a heavy hand this morning. My goodness. I'm gonna, the crease got a little bit chopped off on this side, so I'm just gonna go on a little more powder here. Try to avoid the glitter. It's just about everything. No matter how much it sets down, when it's got glitter in it, if you go over it with a brush, it's gonna pick it up. Just gonna go in with that contour color and do my lower lash line. I might be creasing a little bit. I've been really enjoying this Stellar loose powder. It's super finely milled. It's kind of got a little bit of a pink purple tone to it. But I really don't think, on my skin, I don't really see it. You know how the NARS powder on me, the light reflecting setting powder pressed, sometimes gives me a bit of a white cast when I apply it with a damp sponge, which is my usual powder application method. I don't feel like this one does that. Using my little Wayne Goss airbrush brush. If I had a damp sponge, that's what I would be using, but I don't, so I'm using a brush. I just felt kind of sticky under there, so that's usually a sign it's gonna crease. I might put a little bit of powder on my nose. Too much powder on my nose. I'm not sure about this brush set. It's still in the box because I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep it. The powder brush especially, I don't really use powder brushes. It's very soft. I'll have to think about it. This highlight brush though, it's kind of like that Morphe M500, but a little bit floppier. I have a feeling I'll like this one. And I could use it for blush and bronzer. I don't use bronzer very often unless I need to make my face not look so white. Like if my foundation is too light, then I'll use bronzer. I think this would be a little small for that, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and use the blush. This is not the kind of blush color I tend to wear. I like really natural, kind of nothing colors, like Mood Exposure from Hourglass, Physicians Formula Plum Rose, Maybelline Fit Me Blush and Buff. Those are my three kind of natural, not super decipherable what color it is blushes, or I tend to use oranges and peaches, and I don't wear a lot of pink blush, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about this, but I'm gonna use the little super fluffy brush. Oh, that's really pink. I mean, I wear pink sometimes, and I'm sure I'll come back to pink, because for a while I didn't like orangey blushes, but now I'm back on the orange bandwagon, so I'm guessing I'll be back on the pink bandwagon at some point as well. What I like about this brush is that it's so light that I don't think it's gonna make my cheeks flush, because a big problem I have, I mean it's not a huge problem, kind of an annoyance I have with applying blush is that it's hard for me to tell when I have enough, because just the action of brushing my face makes my cheeks flush, and then I can't tell what's my face and what's the blush. And it's just a little annoying because sometimes I forget to go add more, and then I notice I'm looking like really washed out. I need to get something on my eyebrows, and I'm feeling very reluctant to do anything on my eyebrows. I'm gonna do my Hourglass Arch pencil because it's relatively quick, usually. And it holds up a little bit better than a powder. Powder I feel like is the fastest, but with my sweaty eyebrow situation, that's not really very effective because it will sweat off pretty fast. If you want to know more about my sweaty eyebrows and eyebrow pens, I have a video that I did here recently. Oh, jeepers, this is not going well already. Okay, we're gonna have some thick brows today, apparently. I did dye them recently. Showed a little before and after on Instagram. My brows hadn't totally grown out of the dye, but they had like halfway. And so it's not a massive difference, but it does make doing my brows easier, and it makes it easier for me to wear just clear brow gel as opposed to feeling like I need a tint to give a little contrast. What is going on here? Apparently I should not be talking while doing this because, oh my goodness, it was a hot mess of a brow application. I'm going to try to do a little bit of cleanup with my Sephora Matte Perfection powder. This is in the lightest shade 02 Neutral Porcelain, I think it's called. It's a very fair shade. It's a little dry for me to wear all over, but I really like it if like my eyebrow space is looking a lot darker than my foundation. And for stuff like this, like clean up around my lips, clean up around my brows. It's a lot less harsh and less product to blend out than like doing concealer again to clean up. And generally, I don't clean up around my brows unless I've made a complete mess like I did today. So sometimes I miss putting foundation right up next to my brows. So it comes in handy in a wide variety of ways. I don't think there's any like glitter, like noticeable bits of glitter in this brightener shade. Ooh. This brush splays out a lot, so actually it's a little tricky to get highlighter in one spot. Wow, it kind of reminds me of the Luxie highlight brush that came in Boxycharm, but even more fluffy. You know, I don't mind getting highlighter all over the place, that's fine. But if you're trying to be precise, it's not gonna work. Just looking at that spot right there. I feel like you can really see kind of the white color, and it's a little tricky to blend just because it's so floppy. Like, not the highlights tricky to blend, just the tricky to blend with that brush. But I like it so soft. I'm gonna put on the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. It's like straight up snowing out there. Huh, it's probably not gonna stick. This also came in a Boxycharm last month. You know what I like it better is the Kush mascara from Milk. I like this. This is the kind of formula I like, kind of brush I like. But that Kush mascara, man, that can give me some serious volume and a little length. I just don't like the way it smells. I went ahead and finished my mascara and also did lower lash mascara. I just use a spoolie to take out some of the creases of the concealer right up in the corner of my eyes, and I also took the spoolie to scrape off little bits of smudged mascara. If you have waterproof mascara, it doesn't seem to work as well, but that works really well with a variety of non-waterproof mascaras. I'm using the Anastasia clear brow gel because this actually keeps my brow hairs from falling down, because especially at the tail of my brow here, you can see there's that already sagging down below the line of my oh so carefully drawn in eyebrow. This stuff really keeps my brows in place, where the e.l.f. one is good. It's better than almost everything I have, and that one's like the Beautifully Bare Sheer Brow Tint. It's very liquidy though, so it's kind of a pain to work with, and it doesn't really have a spoolie. It just has this thin itty bitty spoolie, which is kind of hard to use, but the product inside is pretty good for a hold. Quite good for a hold compared to everything I've tried. I ordered the Anastasia Dip Brow gel. I'm slightly concerned as to how that's gonna work. I have a feeling it's gonna be so messy. Okay, so I also got in the Boxycharm box this long-lasting liquid lipstick in Monaco. I think that's the shade. From Ofra. This is a metallic liquid lipstick. I have a couple metallic liquid lipsticks that I like. The vast majority of them I do not like on myself. This kind of color can be tricky for me to wear. I feel like it doesn't look super great on me to begin with. No wonder I can't find those liquid lipsticks, because I'm looking in the brow drawer. These are the only two metallic liquid lipsticks that I like. One of them is from Ofra. This is the original Nikki Tutorials collab color Coven. I really like this one. It is so unique and so pretty, but it is quite dramatic. It's kind of like a cooler base. It smells pretty delicious, and like a warmer brown shimmer. And then this one's a little bit more wearable. It's a Wet n Wild liquid catsuit metallic in Once in a Bronze Moon, and it's still like kind of a brown, but it's a little bit warmer and a little bit lighter. Well, quite a bit warmer and a little bit lighter. Both of these are very, very pretty. It's a little more dramatic than I was planning to go today. Should I? Why not? I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild. When I wore this yesterday, I used a L'Oreal Color Riche Shine in Glossy Vaughn, and it was very pretty, kind of everyday makeup look. But you know, if I'm putting makeup on for the internet, might as well go a little more interesting. What in the heck is going on here? Been struggling with my lip lines lately. My lips are pretty symmetrical, but me doing anything symmetrical has been a challenge. I was so close to taking that off and trying again. So that lip can be a tiny bit sheer, but it builds up fine. It's not like you need to let it dry and go add in another layer. You just can kind of futz around with it a little bit and it's fine. I feel like the, yeah, that rosy color, I don't even like lipsticks generally of that color. So that's just like the color and the finished combined is just not not for me. Now that I have this lipstick on, I feel like maybe I need a tiny bit more blush just to balance out the stronger lip. I feel like in person it looks okay, but on camera it's a little washed out. I'm reluctant to wear much blush. Generally, I don't like a lot of blush. Ooh, there's that swatch. It dries down eventually. Yeah. So that's what that color looks like without any white in it. And I feel like now that I mixed it, it's okay. It's not perfect. It looks a little dark, but not bad. You can see now, I think, like if I go like this, how like chunky funky the ColourPop one goes. And these ones aren't nearly as bad. There's something about that. It just like chunks up a lot. And I think the this one I have on my eyes would too if I hadn't blended it out more. So something to try if you're having difficulties with this one. The issue I have with the ColourPop when I blend it out is that the glitter chunks are bigger, so it's hard to blend it out and have it look even and not get patchy. So yeah, I feel like chunky glitter is definitely a lot more challenging to get to look disperse with a liquid. If you're doing just actual glitter, I feel like it's a little easier to control putting like an even layer on. If it's chunkier, I don't know, kind of like chunky glitter and nail polish, it's just hard unless you use that whole sponge it on technique. Anyway, okay, so I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Let me know if you have any questions, if you've tried Boxycharm, if you like it, if you've discontinued your Boxycharm. I would love to hear from you. And if you've tried any of these products and what you thought about them, also would like to hear your thoughts. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos today. If you want to see more stuff from me, then please do subscribe and turn on the bell if you want a notification when I post a new video. Yeah, and I'll see you soon.